Hello, New Zealand. Welcome to the Late Night Big Breakfast and a fantastic show we've got coming up for you. Not only is it our election special, but it's our final episode of the series, and what an epic series it's been, lads.
What a series, and indeed if you can only see one election special before you do vote on Saturday, it probably shouldn't be this one.
That's right, but I tell you what, we've got a great show lined up for our final show. We've got Joe Bennett later on in Bookshelves.
And also, where do you stand legally if you're sold a haunted house? Are you able to get your money back?
Tell you what, all that and more when our election special continues.
Hello and welcome back to the Late Night Big Breakfast election special from the leather and vinyl section of Target Furniture. This was the point where we would have been hoping to introduce Prime Minister John Key and David Cunliffe, the leader of the Labour Party, but unfortunately both of them have declined to come on the program.
You know, that really fucks me off, Jeremy. I mean, I can understand to a degree the Prime Minister, John Key, not coming on the show. He's got a lot on and perhaps ahead in votes. David Cunliffe, what's he got to lose? To be honest, you know what I mean? It's an election year after all. Why wouldn't David come on the show, Jace? You know?
I actually rang David Cunliffe personally, and he said it's because it's the election that he's not coming on the show.
What, so you're saying if it was an election year, he would come on the show?
I don't know.
Yeah, the annoying thing about that is that if it wasn't an election year, we probably wouldn't be doing an election special. That's the whole conundrum I'm struggling with there. But nevertheless, we have a fantastic replacement here in political commentator, Barry Sober. Barry, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Contessa 5-piece. I'm going to take you right back to, I think it was 93, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason. Or Jeremy, perhaps you could correct me.
Yeah.
The referendum,
correct you on that.
MNP,
right.
96, I think we voted it in, Barry. MNP, we've been going 20 years with that now, a number of elections, at least about 5 elections under that system, at least. MNP, do we understand it yet?
Sorry, are you saying MMP or MNP?
What do you mean?
Well, are you saying MNP or MMP?
Do we understand
What's the difference? What are you talking about?
Well, MMP is what we're in, and I think you're saying MNP. Yeah, MMP. You say MNP.
Can I just put the record straight? It's MMP.
It's MMP.
It's MMP.
Yeah, with an M. Yeah, I know,
Well, it's actually...
That's clearly a typo, a graphics department issue there. That didn't rail. So, do we understand? Are we voting logically after all this time? Barry, to you.
Well, think about Ep10, not too far away from the Target furniture store here. In fact, they strategically vote. That's what it's called, because, you know, they're looking for...
Barry, can I interrupt you there? What you're talking about there is an SVS system, a strategic voting system, but we're an MMP.
The SVS.
We have an STV.
That's an air conditioning unit, isn't it? How about NPC? Do you understand why that's gone and why we're running for an ITM type system now? I mean, just to take it away from politics for a moment.
Well, I'll tell you what my kids really understand is the ATM, and I've got all of them are voting from this year.
Sorry, can I just interrupt you guys? That's fascinating, but we're going to have to go over to our final money chat with Dr. Ananish Chowdhury.
So we'll head over there, Barry, just hold the fort, and we'll see you shortly.
Hello and welcome back to the Late Night Big Breakfast. It's time for Money Chat. Actually, ironically, we are not going to have Money Chat this week. We have run out of money.
Our cash projection said we did have enough money for Money Chat, but we didn't have enough money to run the cash projector. So we're going to leave it this week. Ananush, thanks for coming in.
Okay. Should I leave?
Yes, thanks, mate. You
Okay, all right.
Maybe next week.
All right. Okay. Should I take this off?
Yeah,
That would
thanks.
be good.
Thanks, mate. It's always fantastic listening to your input, but...
Ananish.
Ananush. Yeah, Ananush?
Ananish.
Ananush.
Okay.
So thanks, mate. Yep. That's fantastic.
Thanks, Professor.
Professor? Thanks, mate. Thanks, Barry. Well, welcome back to our election special. The young vote, crucial, isn't it? Or is it?
Well,
Or isn't it?
do they understand politics, I suppose, is the question. Why shouldn't they be left out altogether and leave it to people that actually understand the system of it?
That's a good point.
Do they understand MMP?
They are out there, uneducated or otherwise. They could be voting. It could affect the vote, Barry.
Oh, well, it could, because Labor in this campaign has talked about the missing million, and we assume that they're all young people getting off their synthetic highs.
But speaking of the young voters, I'm going to bring someone in on this. Tim Batt, welcome. I understand you've been recruited, Tim, to try and get these young voters on board. Now, what's that all about?
So there is a bit of a movement, an organisation called the Virgin Voters Collective, which is trying to encourage people, particularly 18 to 24, to
VVC?
come out and vote. That's it.
The virgin vote, so they have to be virgins
No, it's more first-time voters.
who haven't had sex.
No,
foray
the
into
virgin
the...
thing comes from they haven't voted before in an election.
What about base 3 or base 2 though?
So that really doesn't enter into
My argument here is if you need a separate campaign to get these people voting, should they be voting? I mean, if you can't be bothered going down to vote, Barry, do you deserve to be voting?
Precisely my point. But the problem is
Jace. Oh, sorry, you need to go.
No, you go, Barry.
Well,
You go.
would you mind if I answered
Jace.
that? 'Cause
No.
it was
Oh, sorry, Tim.
more
Okay,
of a-
perhaps Tim could answer that.
Okay.
No, yeah.
felt like it was directed sort of at me. And what I would say to that is I think the strength of any democracy is when you get more voices involved. And if we get more people involved, then they'll learn more
Tim.
about the political
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were already answering that. Sorry, Tim. Yeah, fantastic. That's a good point.
It's a selfish generation, isn't it?
I'm not
Them
sure.
To get off their fat asses, get off the interweb, walk down to their local and vote.
Jace, you guys didn't
Can I
even
quote you
know
on
what
that?
MMP was before.
Zip it, Tim, just for the moment. Jace, you had something to say? No? Tim, yeah. So basically, you're a mascot
What I'm
for
saying
young
is
people voting.
the best way to
We've
get
all been
people...
mascots. You've been a mascot, Jeremy.
Yeah,
I mean,
actually, interesting. I was a mascot. I was a mascot.
So was I, strangely,
In
but
1991 for the Table Talk College Rifles netball team. I was a chicken. My name was Table Talk, and I actually had the honour of being getting changed inside the changing sheds with the other girls, and I remember Julie Coney was Nee Townsend actually at that stage was the captain of the team, and she was topless, and it was the first breasts I saw live on a woman, other than my mother's. And
we've kind of digressed here, but continue anyway.
I tell you what, that's a firm memory that's still etched in there, and I cannot eradicate that. In fact, actually, if we can bring some pictures of some breasts up.
Okay, so basically you're in a chicken suit.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, if I could just interrupt you. Why do we actually have a graphic of breasts?
Oh, don't worry about that, Jace. That was from an unused money chat segment we didn't get to use, so that's why they're there. Don't get thrown by that.
Can I just say, having heard this, I think we should allow the young people to take over the voting system because
Thank you.
clearly there's not a great deal of interest, is there, in the older generation? And
There's not so much,
Quite a
there's
lot.
nothing wrong for your digression there. There you go. Look, we'll be back after this break. See you shortly.
In Braddock Grove in Timaru, there's a penguin and a seagull and a driveway that leads down to a house.
Oh, come on in.
Thank you very much.
The neighbours say if there's one thing you can bank on, it's that there's always sweet smells wafting from Gail's place. You see, Gail's a baker.
When we arrive, she's busy baking cakes for her local polling booth volunteers.
As a volunteer, would you say you're one of the biggest volunteers volunteering to help the volunteers in New Zealand, Gail?
Don't know about the biggest, but pretty big.
Gail's husband Peter's no longer with us, so she lives with her 93-year-old mum who's a bit camera shy. When she's not baking, she's either knitting or sleeping or watching her beloved Transonic with teletext and built-in Freeview. Gail reckons that there's nothing better for performance than good old cake. And that's Gail Matthews. No fuss, no nonsense, and she's a good sort.
Hope they enjoy my cake, Jeremy.
I'm sure they will, Gail. I'm sure they'll love it. Fascinating.
Coming up, our election special continues, and we close the series with Mike the Mongolian Throat Singer. All that plus much, much more after the break.
Well, welcome back to our election special here on the Contessa 5 Pieces with Barry and Tim. There you go. Look, we'll be back after this infomercial. See you shortly.
Hello, I'm Jason Hoyt. I really love to get outdoors and really enjoy life. And making infomercials on a regular basis allows me to do that. I get to talk about some pretty amazing products, many of which use polymer technology from NASA. And I get to do it all from convenient, generic outdoor locations. But what do you want from me? Allow me to make your infomercials so you can get out and do what's important to you. Infomercials from me, giving you the time and the freedom to do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Well, there you go, Jace. Certainly infomercial about infomercials.
Just getting back to the young voters, obviously a lot of young people are really struggling today with buying the new house, with getting employment. So those are significant issues for young people today.
And assholes like Tim need to learn this. They need to learn that you got to get out there, you got to vote, you got to make a difference if you want to make a difference.
Well, that's what we're trying to encourage people to do. To come
why
out
didn't
and
you say
vote.
that?
Well, I did at the start, before you started talking about breasts.
The election's in a couple of days' time. Should we not sort of get back to
That's
the
what
issue?
we've been doing, haven't we?
Hey, I tell you what, I hit the streets earlier in the week to find out what the people are thinking about the election. Check this footage.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. How you going, mate? You well?
I'm good, yeah.
Fantastic. Obviously going to this. Well, I'm obviously going to the .com thing like yourself. Is there anything in this?
Well, look, if this is about what it is, I think it's about time that I got out of politics.
Are we missing some of the characters of yesterday? I mean, let's take it your Muldoons, your Longies, your Norman Kirks.
I mean, we've got a big overweight German about to step on stage with a moment of truth. Unfortunately, that moment's been stolen from them because we've had it in the media today, and it's been in the media now for the last 18 months.
We certainly have, Barry. We're going to have to go back to the studio.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Okay.
Thanks,
see ya.
mate.
Kind of wish I never bothered now. Are we missing some of these characters at the moment in the political spectrum, Barry?
Well, we're missing the big orators,
Yeah.
I think, and listening to the valedictories. Well, I didn't listen to them because
Yeah.
they weren't worth listening to largely. They were Mogadon territory, and that's the unfortunate aspect.
Why?
Youth.
It's youth?
It's the social
Comes
media.
back to these guys, does it?
Comes back to social media. They promote these sorts of politicians.
They vent their stuff on Twitter
They're like
and
bland,
stuff.
yeah.
Yep.
And they're afraid to open their mouths these days.
Barry, what is a Mogadon?
Mogadon?
It's like a tabby, isn't it?
You're talking about a cat. You're saying these people
No.
are cats.
No, this is that's wasn't Martin a Mogadon in Ep10, our SPCA special? Remember we were trying to give Martin away?
Wasn't he a ginger tab? He was a ginger,
Can we bring
wasn't
some footage up of Martin?
He's a ginger tab. He's not a Mogadon.
Just some news on Martin. Unfortunately, he didn't get a home through the show. No fault of our own. We certainly tried. So it'd be fair to say that Martin is probably no longer with us. But
I'm sorry I ever raised Mogadon now.
okay. Hey, feel free to text in your views, your thoughts on any of this we've been discussing. How are you going to vote this weekend? It's going to be exciting. Barry, to a lesser degree, Tim as well. Thanks for coming on. It's fantastic to hear your views put forward so intelligently.
Thanks, Leigh.
And it wouldn't be a final show without some final input from our mate Joe Bennett, JB, in Bookshelves. So I'll go over and check in with him now. Welcome again to Bookshelf. As you well know, I've been fascinated with religious history, archaeology, that sort of thing for many, many years.
Didn't know that, Leigh.
In history. Well, you've got to think about it, Joe, that the moment that Jesus, the Christ, the morning he rose, apparently, and rolled that stone away, pretty much was the moment that A, Christianity was created, and B, basically was the initial idea for the ranch slider. I suppose you could say that. And as you know, I have a fascination with ranch sliders also.
Yeah.
But no, my point is, Joe, I've always been fascinated with this kind of thing. The likes of the Shroud of Turin, mysteries like this.
Yeah, which has been debunked.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about the Shroud of Turin, an image of Christ on a cloth.
Well, it's not of Christ. It's apparently an image, but it's not of Christ.
Well, it's reputed to be Christ
it's 12th
on
century
the
cloth,
crucifixion.
and so it's not Christ.
We don't know that, Joe.
Yes, we do know that. Yeah. Carbon dated, it's 1,200 years too late to have been Christ's winding cloth.
Yeah, I think you may be getting confused with the one in Peru, which was basically
The Shroud of Peru.
No, the Shroud of Urine. That was a sheet that they found, and it had a map of Israel on it, where they thought it was, and it turned out just to be
A urine stain.
a urine stain on a sheet dating no further back than 1978.
In Peru.
From a stag do, apparently. But that may be the one you're getting confused with, Joe.
Shroud
I
of Peru.
do not know. Hey, Joe, what I want to go into now, if I could, I went to Egypt recently, as you know.
I didn't know that. No.
You didn't know that?
No.
Okay.
What were you doing in Egypt?
I was researching the
were you
pyramids.
researching?
The pyramids.
Okay.
And their connection to such things as this.
As the crucifixion of Jesus.
Yes. And what
And was there a big connection between the pyramids and the crucifixion of Jesus?
Well, there was to Mary Magdalene, interestingly enough. And as you well know, for the Da Vinci Code, the V in the Last Supper there.
Yeah.
Of course, representing
Yeah, all bullshit as well.
the
but
womb, apparently, of
Representing the womb.
the Magdalene of the womb. And much like the shape of the pyramid, I have ascertained that probably also invertedly represented the shape of the womb or the vagina or the vagine or the vagi, or meaning, of course, from the Latin, wise vagina. But, or the vagi, or from the Greek, vaginus.
I've never heard such bollocks.
So
it's the Holy Grail.
You just have to do the research show to know that the vagi or the vagine, from the Greek,
Vagine, from the Greek.
vagunus, or the vagi,
The vagi.
or the vagina.
The coming of the vagi.
Anyway, that's what I've been
Well-known
reading.
Italian
What the hell
painter.
have you been reading?
What have I been reading? I've been reading Skios by Michael Frayn.
Fantastic. Hey, thanks for watching. Back to you guys in the studio. Wow, welcome back.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Final show. It's been an epic series, and certainly I know it's been a great pleasure working with both of you. Some highlights.
Highlights for you, Jace?
I'd have to say Little Bo Peep and a Little Hairy Sheep.
Yeah.
That was a highlight for me.
Highlight
But
for
so
me.
many highlights. It's hard to sort of pick one out of the
So many
conglomerate.
highlights. I think your cooking segments.
Yeah.
Well, all the cooking really.
Smoked salmon bagels with crushed avocado, some cherry tomatoes, and scrambled eggs. Really simple.
Cook the man some fucking eggs, bitch!
Okay. So you start with the scrambled eggs.
Once we're one.
You're whacking on there just. Bit better than normal oven. Normally works best when it's outdoors. Just let it rest out there for a while. That was fantastic from you.
I'm going to take you back to Ep10 with the Asian
driving special.
better than driving the Asian driving special, and what an episode that was. And we uncovered a lot of truths in that.
We certainly did. How about the horse special? What
Yeah.
fantastic that was.
I can't help but recall with a great deal of affection Jeremy mounting the horse, and you know, that was one of those TV
Actually, I don't know
moments
if we
you
used that
never...
footage in the end.
Oh, you didn't?
I don't know if that got in the show. It may have.
I think it's just etched in my
Yeah.
television memory.
Hey,
And,
the Lord special.
Wow.
What a show that was.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
And she's so
really
talented,
tapping
isn't
in.
she?
She certainly is.
And I have to say, on a personal level, I think that's some of the best infomercial work I've ever done.
Oh, I'd have to agree with you there, Jace. Your infomercials were second to none. You've really set the benchmark for infomercials from here on in, I think.
You know, I've always loved the freedom of 10-pel tampons. And with 5 bonus tampons in every glossy pack, you'll have the freedom to use them any time of the month.
You talk a lot about the interactive quality of the show, Jace, and I met my second wife in the second episode
That's very
via the
interactive.
Facebook page, and so it's been a wonderful series for me. We've conceived a child.
And I thought the Facebook page was a waste of time. That you're telling me that. That's
I've got a child
certainly-
now.
Yeah.
Well, I've conceived a child. Hopefully she gets through that difficult 10-week period. But scans are going right so far, and it's not a
get past
downy
that,
or
that's
anything
a
like
great-
that. So
it's a great
things
point.
are good so
And
far.
I think that we haven't shied away from the issues either, and that's been the good thing. We've been able to
did
talk
right.
about, you know, things that affect everyday New Zealanders out there. Test
Oh,
or...
talk about the World Cup.
Talk about one day. Or
Jeremy's
going to start. I thought we were talking about tests.
I know I've got an issue that's been arisen for the last couple of months. I've got a discharge coming from my anus, and it's a creamy kind of a discharge. It's seeping. It's a drizzly.
Right, I think I just need to make it clear that I'm not actually a medical doctor.
But if any animal's going to be a drug addict, I'd say it would be a Shetland pony.
Can you raise a baby on orca milk?
No.
And that's a battle. It's all very well doing a show which is accessible, in some cases on the lighter side. Let's admit it, we've had some lighter moments too, but to be able to go from that, Jace, into the hard issues like milk, trade in Asia, hard finance.
I have been interviewed all around the world, and this is the first time I have...
that's been a real a steep learning curve, and I think we've really attacked that. And that's probably what I'm most proud of, actually.
Yeah.
Hey, but keep in touch on Facebook, as we say, and all these other mediums which are out there now. The DVDs are available. You can buy the DVDs. Probably the end of this episode won't be in there because we wouldn't have filmed that yet, but you can tag that on later. If you want your DVD right away, it'll probably just be a blank one for now, just as a holder. We can send to the cases, I suppose.
Yeah.
The DVDs are getting burned over the next couple of weeks. We'll send the DVD out after that. But how else do you finish a show like this or a series like this? And I can only think of one way, and that's with Mike the Mongolian taking us out with that timeless classic, We Are the World.
There come time when we hear the circle and the world must come together as one. There are people dying, oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life. The greatest gift of all, we can go on, pretending day by day there's someone, somewhere to make a change. We are all the part of God's great big family. And the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world, we are the children, we are the world's better today, so let's try giving. But the choice we made it, we say we are alive. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. Oh, send me your heart, so that someone care, and their lives will be stronger and free. On the time, and so we all must learn by being high. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make the day, so let's try giving. There's choice we made it. We say we are alive, it's true, we make a better day, just you and me.
It's going on tonight. And thank you, New Zealand On Air.